Hi, Democrats. Today is Tuesday, April 18th, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Life. Happy Tuesday. So yesterday when I started, I said that if it's Monday, I have more gun stories to talk about. Well, it's Tuesday, and I have more gun stories to talk about. This time it hits home, right? Most of you know I am from Tulsa, and this morning there was a shooting at Rudisill Library, a place where I do a lot of Democratic organizing. There was a shooting at Rudisill Library that somehow, I don't know if they were running or what happened, but then they ended up at the Quick Trip down the street and there was a shooting inside the Quick Trip. Out of this incident, there's one person dead and one person injured right here in my hometown. Just more guns. There is just a proliferation of guns, too many guns, because it feels like guns are being used as a solution that could just be solved by deciding not to talk to that person anymore, by deciding just to not engage. But when we have a gun, it seems like that is the answer to solve everything. So yesterday, all this weekend, we talked about, and they've been talking about all over the news, the young man who rang the wrong doorbell and was shot first through the glass and then shot again. It looks like that young man's going to make it, and that is awesome. But now we have to hear about the woman who pulled into the wrong driveway and she was shot. Honestly, folks, if you don't, people pull into, I live on a corner. People pull into my driveway all the time to turn around. And you know what I do? I ignore them. They're not knocking on my door trying to get in my house. They are not my business. I do not have to shoot them. Shooting should not be our first answer, but it is because everyone has a gun and a half. Everyone has way too many firearms, and it seems like that is the answer. And I happen to live in, a lot of you are watching me, we live in a Second Amendment sanctuary state where everybody just feels like a gun solves everything. It's a little distracting, a little disgusting, and I don't know what our state is willing, because I know what could happen. I know what we could do to minimize the gun violence. I don't know that our state is willing to do so. I didn't want to talk about McCurtain County again. I talked about it yesterday, but it is the talk of the nation, thanks to Rachel Maddow by opening her show yesterday, talking about McCurtain County. When I saw someone say, Rachel Maddow was talking about Oklahoma on her show, I didn't think it was good. I knew that Rachel Maddow was talking about one more moment of embarrassment for our state. And this is a doozy. Here's the problem with what happened in that meeting or in that post meeting. Too many of us aren't surprised. Too many of us know that it is commonplace. And too many elected officials feel comfortable having those conversations. There's one thing to be a bigot, but to feel comfortable enough to talk about it while you're at work with your coworkers because you know that they too are bigots, that's when it's dangerous. But that's where we live. And sadly, the nation got to see the racism that plays out in Oklahoma on full display. And it wasn't he said, she said. I think he said something like somebody who took some notes. It was an actual recording with their actual voices. I won't glorify what they said by repeating it, but I want us to know what they said was vile, disgusting, and violent. And here's the thing. It was so vile, disgusting, and violent that our governor, who typically kind of looks past these things, even our governor, in a timely manner, said that they needed to step down, that they needed to resign. When confronted, what they said was, wait a minute, it's illegal for him to record us. Not, I didn't say it. Not, that's not how I really feel. But they took issue with the illegal recording. Shows you they're not embarrassed and they don't regret the racist, vile, violent things that they said. Here's the thing. I am the chair of the Oklahoma Democratic Party, and my job is to make plans. My job is to recruit candidates. If you're watching me, I hope you're part of my army and you'll help me recruit candidates. We need to find someone. First of all, we need to keep the pressure and make them resign. And then we need to find someone who believes in good for all and run them against them. They need to go, but they need to be replaced by someone who doesn't think that way. There's a history. There is a history of bad acting out of McCurtain County. I refuse to believe that that is the entire county. I refuse to believe that there aren't good souls in McCurtain County. We need to find those good souls and run them against the horrible people that were on that tape. The newspaperman, the reporter who put that tape in there thought that they were going to catch them working behind closed doors in a non-transparent manner. But what they caught was much worse. There is no trust betrayed, because I hope that there was no trust belied to those folks. But what we have to do is run someone against them. What we have to do, whether you live in McCurtain County, whether you live in Canadian County, Tulsa County, what we have to do is unite behind whatever candidate we find. And we're going to find the better candidate, not just a name. We need to unite behind them as a statewide effort and replace those horrible people with someone who has what's good for McCurtain County and Oklahoma in mind. That's what we're going to do. So you're going to be hearing from me. You're going to be hearing from me as we lay down the steps to this plan. So as I talk to you about the guns, as I talk to you about the bigotry that's happening in our state, I am reminded of the question that we must ask ourselves, or no, the question we must answer for our legislature and for our governor. Our legislature and our governor are feigning ignorance. They are pretending like they don't know why businesses will not sign here, why businesses will not move here. They're pretending like they don't know. They don't want to come here because our elected officials talk like those folks in McCurtain County. They don't want to come here because it's the wild, wild west and people are shooting just willy-nilly and we're a Second Amendment sanctuary state. They don't want to come here because this is a place where bigotry is allowed to thrive, where not all Oklahomans are treated equally. The feelings and considerations of all Oklahomans aren't considered equally. So when someone is thinking about moving their multi-million-dollar company from one state to the other, they look at what is the quality of life going to be for them and for their employees. And on display, we've said, yeah, we got a bunch of racists and bigots, and be careful getting some gas because you might get shot. That's what's happening. If our legislature and our governor truly want to bring businesses here, they will cease with the cultural wars and start putting in place bills and actions that will improve the lives of Oklahomans and will root out the evildoers. It's not that hard. We just have to have the will. I know we have the will, and we're going to do what we can. We're going to keep up the noise. We're going to keep up the action. We're going to keep slowly but surely electing more Democrats, electing more common sense people who are fighting for the good of Oklahoma. Thanks for joining me, and I'll be back here tomorrow at 4:15.